She still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Sean Whaley is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Oh, welcome in everyone to a brand new edition of Axe Cake Picks, episode 72. Today is December 1st, 2023. I am your host, D-Rock, and joining me from the golf capital of the world down in beautiful South Carolina, Joey D. Joe, how's the weather down there, kid?
Actually, surprisingly humid, man. Came out warm today. All the bees are out, stinging everybody. But I got some news as the introduction lies. One Friday Fights 43 took place this morning. I went 4-1 and wound up second on the planet. And up by you in Atlantic City, Ring of Combat 82 is tonight in Atlantic City. Jackson Wink MMA, John Bones Jones gym. Fight Night 6 is tonight in their gym in New Mexico. And last but not least, Conflict MMA 60 takes place down in Charleston, South Carolina, a.k.a. Holy City Fight Night, where our very own Colby U competes, and we'll be cheering you on, my man.
Let's fucking go. Got a lot to talk about today. Got PFL recap. We'll recap Katie Taylor revenges her loss. Great interview with Clay Collard. He was in the main event against OAM. UFC is back down in Austin, Texas. Sneaky good card, headlined by Arman Sarukian and Benel Dariush. We got BKFC in Utah 56 this weekend. The Underground King Eddie Alvarez taking on Mike Perry, and the return of Ryan Garcia a little later. But Joe, let's start with the PFL. OAM defeats our boy Clay Collard via unanimous decision, 49-46 ×3. Now, listen, you were talking with him, should have made it a wrestling fight, which I kind of agree with, but that's just really not, I feel like, his style of fighting, Clay Collard. And to be honest, I thought it was going to be a little closer than I thought. I actually agree with you and one of the commentators. Randy Couture. I agreed with him. I thought Clay Collard, he gave OAM those leg kicks, obviously hurt him too. Yeah. You could tell, and I think that's why he was so persistent trying to take Clay Collard down. But what were your thoughts on the main event, real quick?
One moment that stands out to me the most is when Clay Collard was wringing OAM's neck. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. But he got pushed up against the cage, and he had to go ahead and do that. But yeah, honestly, it was a really entertaining fight. OEM had to, fight his kind of fight and take it to the ground to avoid the danger that was on the feet from Clay Collard. I really feel there was a kind of a styles clash going on in that fight, if you would. And, I think, Clay could have obviously made it a wrestling match and could have, counter wrestled, but you said it, he wanted to do some damage, and he did. And I think if we had Bellator's judging or maybe scoring criteria, he hands down would have won the fight. But, with the PFL and verdict and everyone being involved in the smart cage and the takedowns, that's why, OAM came out victorious. And kudos to him, back-to-back belts. And our man Clay, he even gave him his, his flowers. So, shout out to both competitors, man. They're I gotta say, I respect both those guys at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%. Both class acts. OAM actually winded up retiring. You could tell, I mean, through the whole week, he just, with press conferences, interviews, he just wasn't with anything. Like, he just didn't want to be there anymore. He winded up coming out on the MMA Hour the next day and saying, you know what, like, I was even thinking about retiring last year. So,
which is surprising, because when you have, with the fight game, you really can't have, 1 foot out the door. But so, like, with 1 foot out the door, the fact that he got the job done,
multiple times,
I think it speaks a lot to his character. Yeah. You can't take anything away from Clay because, it takes two to tango. So
yeah, 100%. But I mean, undefeated in PFL. He said the highlight of his career, 2-time champ. He's set for life with money, wins the $1 million again. But it's very unfortunate. We won't probably see the Canadian gangster anymore. And, there are a lot of people that come out and say they retire, but we kind of see them back in a year or two. It kind of looked genuine from OAM. What did you think? You think we saw the last of him?
Yeah, and I think he also followed it up on social media. He had this long response, and I think he is official. He is retired, so there's no more OAM. But hey, as we spoke with our boy Clay, he'll be back. And so we're going to get to see him featured on a lot of bouts next year. That's for sure.
Yeah, it should be very interesting to see if he goes into the tournament style again like they did, and we'll see what the future lies for Clay Collard. But yeah, shout out OAM, another championship and another $1 million. Co-main event though, Ferreira, he knocked out our boy Dennis. I mean, I just got this one wrong. I thought it was going to be the other way around. Knocks him out in the second round for the heavyweight championship. What did you think about this co-main event?
Man, he is a scary dude, to be honest. He is massive. He lives up to his name, El Problema, because he gives people a lot of problems, honestly. And to beat Dennis Goltsov, that's saying a lot because he's a ex-champ. I know he's won the tournament a couple times. And, he's a stand-up guy in terms of his game. He really wants to stand and bang and use his technical prowess on the feet to win his fights. But when you get hit a couple times with that power, man, and a front kick lands and a punch lands and you're just getting hammered on the ground, there's not much you can come out of with a 6'8" man like that. So Renan Ferreira is a problem across the world in the heavyweight division, to be completely honest. I think he's a bad matchup for most heavyweights in the world.
Even Francis?
He'd probably be the closest terms of athleticism and physical capability to him.
What about Ryan Bader? Or do you put Ryan Bader? He's the champion for Bellator. Do you put him next to Francis in quarter 4? Like, what do we do with Francis after he has another boxing match?
I'm glad you brought that up. And, I said it on one of the previous episodes that I think that we may get an MMA fight or the mixed rules fight before we see Francis box again. But if they decide to get a boxing match, we got the Day of Reckoning upcoming, a little preview for our future episode. But, those guys are ranked in the top 10 of that heavyweight division. So who's going to be left for Francis to fight? I think they're going to have to work some kinks out. And honestly, Deontay Wilder is fighting on that card. I don't think the mixed rule fight happened. You brought up Ryan Bader. That is a fight that I think is most likely to happen. Renan Ferreira is the PFL champ, but the face of PFL is Francis Ngannou.
Exactly.
So if you want to merge the championships, or however it may be, the one-off, if you will, I think the matchup would be Francis Ngannou against Ryan Bader. So you're right. I appreciate
that's what I think. But now what do you do? There's so much to talk about. We could talk about it all day, but Bellator versus PFL champions. Now, do you go Ferreira versus Ryan Bader? I mean, obviously they have to do it because they're the two champions.
And they both have huge size discrepancies against Ryan Bader because he's naturally a light heavyweight, but has been able to compete in the heavyweight division. So I just think that he may be outsized a little with these two guys. So it'd be interesting to see because he is very technical. He has great wrestling and he has got a chin. So, he can hold his own for sure.
Larissa Pachenko, she put on a clinic, man. Unanimous decision, 49 times 46.
The other chick's tough, Marina.
Oh, yeah. And I thought, man, I got this one wrong. I thought she was going to put her away, and credit Marina because, man, she has a chin made of granite, and 2, she kept coming after. Regardless of how many strikes she absorbed, she kept coming after Larissa. So balls of fucking steel for that woman, man. And Larissa is one of the best in the world. So for you not to get finished by her, I think is like a moral victory. If you would, what'd you think about Larissa?
Yeah, impressive. There's like that 3-way that they're saying, like, with the PFL, it's like Larissa, Kayla, and I'm drawing a blank on the other one. It's not Cyborg because it's
Cyborg.
It's all who they want to fight though. That's the thing. It's like who's gonna clash up well against them. So I'll be honest, Larissa Pachenko has been proving her worth. I know we had Kayla Harrison on the card before. She beats Aspen Ladd, but Larissa Pachenko beat Kayla. It's like a case of what have you done for me lately? And Larissa Pachenko has been proving her worth time and time again. And recency bias would say that she gets the shot. Larissa Pachenko should be the one deserving of the big money payday, if you will.
One thing I'll disagree so heavily on Don Davis's part. After the fight, he said the fight to make is Cyborg and Larissa Pachenko. And I don't know if that's what you think as well, but it just can't happen. You can't kill off a fight between her and Kayla Harrison. You just can't do it. They've been wanting to fight for about 2-3 years now. Kayla, after her win, kind of called her out. Didn't necessarily say her name, but we all knew who she was talking about. You have to make that fight. And then Larissa, she fights the winner.
Yeah, and I would say this, that honestly, I know it sounds weird because we know who Chris Cyborg is, but I think it's just unfortunate that PFL has bought Bellator, so she's coming in, right? She may need to earn a title shot, and to do so, she
Fight
needs
Taylor
to beat
Harrison.
Yeah.
And my thing is, no disrespect to Chris Cyborg, because she's one of the best ever, but
absolutely.
What if Larissa's dangerous? What if she goes and knocks her out?
It kills the Kayla fight.
It kills it.
But if the Kayla fight happens with Cyborg, then we build up whoever comes out of the victorious to fight the champ, Larissa.
And I think that's so simple. And Don Davis came out immediately after the PFL World Championship and said, I think it's pretty obvious that the fight you need to make is Chris Cyborg and Larissa Pacheco. And I'm sitting here like SpongeBob, like double take 3 times. Like, wait, what did he say? Like that just can't happen. I mean, I gotta get his email. I gotta write him something, because that just can't happen. But I'm glad we talked about it. We're on the same page. Magomed Karamov, man, this guy's just addicted to winning. He wins the welterweight at 170 again. He defeats via guillotine choke Sadibou. Man, this guy's a fucking killer at 170. What do you think?
Yeah, impressive, man. I had Sadibou. I was thinking that he could keep it, at range and use his kicks and play his game. But Magomed Karamov is just a grinder, bro. He grinds people out. He's got look at it, 40 fights now on his record. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's going to try to come back next year. And did he win back-to-back as well?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, he's the type of guy to maybe get 3. To be honest, if he keeps grinding and keeps playing his game, he can honestly go into win next year's as well.
100%. He's fantastic. I think there's there's a couple people, you got Nurmagomedov, you got Magomed Karamov, obviously Larissa Pacheco. Like, there's a couple people, obviously in Bellator too. You got Johnny Eblin, Patchy Mix. Like, those are like the 5-6 fighters that are like, wow, you could put them right in the top 10 of the UFC if they were there. But credit Magomed. Great win. What
Cinderella story here, man.
Oh,
Saganai, man.
What a fucking story, man. And he was going on a bunch of interviews, and just hearing his story and how much gratitude and grit and determination this guy has, sleeping in his car after getting brutally knocked out on a highlight reel in the UFC. He said that was the best thing for him getting up. And man, God always has a plan for you. So never stop believing. And it honestly if it doesn't fuel you, his story becoming a light heavyweight champion, and the balls on this guy too for calling out Francis.
He said he'll go move up and wait.
Yeah, I'm sitting here like, I love it though. I mean, what a story, man. What'd you think of him?
Yeah, I go back to the call out. Impressive call out to call out Francis. That's how you get your name out there, and eyes are on him too of the story. So the fact that he accomplished all that, and against a tough Josh Silveira, gym owner. He's like a legacy fighter. His father fought, so Josh Silveira is no easy out. And Impa Kasanganay, he proved his worth, man. He deserved that $1 million, and I'm just so happy for him. I like to see what's next for him, because he's going to be fighting next year. So I think we're getting a lot of these guys returning, but let's see the percentages on who makes it to the playoffs and the fall off of the next year and who doesn't. I want to see that, just like they, with other sports, that happens a lot.
What a debut for Derek Brunson, man. Blom Brunson takes care of Ray Cooper the third, unanimous decision, 30 times 27. He even got a 30-25 times 2 from 2 judges as well. I thought, conditioning, amazing. I thought it was on point from Derek Brunson. Ground and pound, the pressure, the takedowns, the scrambles. He had an answer for everything. This was probably one of the best I've ever seen Derek Brunson perform, and I'm glad, he got the kind of pop in Washington, D.C. that he deserves. So, and I like the call out. I know he probably won't get the fight, but, that's a money fight, and he's smart for that.
That's for sure. Yeah, I was impressed by the debut of Derek Brunson. He came in shape. He came in motivated. And once again, Ray Cooper is absolutely no joke. He can knock your lights out at any moment of any round of the fight, any minute of the fight. And Derek Brunson did great at avoiding all that and playing his game. And we analyzed it pretty well. I think we dissect that fight down to a science.
Yeah. So overall, I thought it was good. It dragged a lot. 6 title fights. It was dragging. I'm not gonna
The way
lie.
it doesn't drag, I think next time is just kind of get the fights going.
Yeah.
With the ad breaks and all that in between of each fight, it was kind of getting. You're right. It was kind of dragging along and.
But overall, I thought it was a really good card. What? Any other thoughts on the PFL World Championship?
Jesus Pinedo's another kind of story that was shocking. The Peruvians are just on fire this year. I'll be honest with you. You gotta kick me, man. Every time I fade him, you gotta tell me, bro, wake up.
And Belizio Ali Walsh.
Ali Walsh. Shout out. We also broke that fight down. To a T.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait till this guy goes pro too. So no rush either.
Sooner. I'll be honest though. He's already got like 6-7 amateur bouts. Let's see. I'm gonna go just to make sure. All amateurs. He did lose his first fight. But that's sometimes like a good learning experience. We talk about it all the time. You learn more from losses than you do wins, and so, let's see. 1, 2. Yeah, he's got exactly that. He's got 7 total fights.
Yeah, so the future is bright for the guy, and man, when you got
Ali's grandson,
when you got that blood in your veins, I mean, I think you're gonna be all right. But yeah, shout out to PFL. I thought it was a good event, just kind of dragged long into the night was my only concern.
Yes, sir.
And I thought the best part of the event actually was bringing some of the Bellator champions ringside or cage side, whatever. But they didn't have Cyborg, which was very interesting, I thought.
No, they didn't, but I did like that as well. And I'll be honest with you, the one fight that kind of caught most of my attention, as we just mentioned, the Jesus Pinedo versus Pitbull fight. I like that face-off, man.
Do you like the face-offs, by the way?
Sometimes I think it's a little pushy, especially after like some wars. You know what I mean? You got a fresh guy coming in up, and it's like I just came out of a 5-round fight, so sometimes I feel like it's pushed down our throats a little bit, but sometimes they're perfect. Sometimes those face-offs in the octagon, both are ready and both are in it, and the fans are excited. So it wasn't too bad.
Let's head over to Dublin, where Katie Taylor avenges her loss to earn her second undisputed crown. I mean, what a fight, I thought. Yeah. One card read 95-95. The one card that I totally disagree with, 98-92, I just don't see. 96-94 in favor of Taylor. I see that. If you want to do 96-94 Cameron, I saw that as well. 98-92 just didn't make sense. But I mean, these girls, Joe, they just put their head down, put their fists up, and they just walk towards each other. And unfortunately, too many clash of heads. That was my one problem. It cut up Chantel Cameron. You saw it on the side of her face, that the clash of heads. And also Katie Taylor was kind of clinching like a little too much towards the later rounds, the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, she was trying to play it safe, kind of stalling it out a little bit. And, it's funny. I guess I put it out there because I thought we were going to get that headbutt with the Sky Nicholson fight. But I guess it sort of manifested there. And, to be honest, in such a high-stake fight, with it wasn't intentional, but with it becoming so common occurrence, I think you may have the ref had to have put a warning out, and he didn't. If I was in the ref's shoes, I would have probably put a warning out, and like if it happened from either fighter, if Chantel Cameron did it, I would absolutely take a point from her. But if Katie Taylor had repetitively done it after the warning, I would have taken a point from her. I think that's something that was failed to do. It should have been done. Yeah, and I just think that it was an entertaining fight, though. Like you said, it was kind of a war of attrition as it got into the later rounds. You got to say both of the girls, after throwing so many punches at each other, there was a lot of points being scored. They were both drained. I think they drained each other. And I think Katie just, at the end of the day, however you may feel about it, I do think she wanted it a little more. Yeah. And whether or not that judge with the 98-92 scorecard was bought off, or they kept the same judge from the previous fight because that 95-95 occurred on the majority decision the last time. I got to say it was Katie Taylor's fight. Like I said, she wanted it more towards the end, and she did win that. But like I said, I don't see that 98-92 card. I do see the 96-94 either way.
Yeah, 96-94 is a much better scorecard. And I did think I thought Chantel Cameron, I thought she looked a little hesitant, if I'm being honest. She didn't really go for it. She didn't use her jab like she did in the first fight. And Katie Taylor just fucking put her face down, and she wanted it more, to be honest. So credit her after everything the country of Ireland dealt with that week for 1 hour creating and uniting all the Irish people together. It had to be Katie Taylor. So she's probably, I don't want to disrespect Clarissa Shields. She is the GOAT, but Katie Taylor is right there. Am I wrong?
Greatest woman of all time, Clarissa Shields. She's very decorated as a boxer, and she's also willing to make the transitions. We saw her compete in the in the PFL cage. So, Katie Taylor, kudos to her. She's one of the greatest boxers of all time. Chantel Cameron was a good dance partner for her. She brought it. So, like I said before, it takes your opponent, it takes you, and respect to both competitors. I don't know. Do you think we run this back though?
So that was my next question to you, because shout out our girl Sky Nicholson. She got her first TKO. Lucy Wildheart.
She looked good doing it too, man.
She looked good. She made her look silly in there, to be honest, and she put her away in the 9th round. My question is, she called out Amanda Serrano. Amanda Serrano kind of, distanced herself. She said she has other plans, but at a certain point, Joe, Amanda Serrano can't keep ducking Sky Nicholson.
It'll be inevitable.
It'll be inevitable before they strip her. You're going to have to fight her one day. I think if I'm the WBC, either you fight her or I'm stripping you. But I'm a little strict in that because they hold up divisions in that sense.
Yeah. And
yes, they need to stay active. And Sky Nicholson said, "Hey, I'll go to Puerto Rico. I'll go anywhere." She's fought in 6 different countries in her 9 fights. She's not afraid to go anywhere. Where she just went to Mexico in her last fight besides last weekend, so she's down to go anywhere. Katie Taylor, in her post conference fight, she said, "Let's run the trilogy at Croke Park." I mean, those two in the ring, they're perfect for each other. Katie Taylor, I think they have to run it back, and I also think Chantel Cameron needs or deserves an opportunity to get her belts back. I think so.
Yeah, you said it perfect. I have nothing else to add because that was perfect. I think she deserves to get that shot, and Katie Taylor should be willing to grant her it.
Yeah, and I think she will. She came out and said, "Let me heal up, but I do want to run the trilogy back." And to be honest, that's a moneymaker. They're both under the same promotion. Eddie Hearn's going to get it done. He's one of the greatest promoters, especially over there in Europe. So I do think it will get done. But overall, in the weekend, not the best weekend for the boy. Just went 2-5. Got Derek Brunson, a nice little dog, and our boy Ali Walsh. But other than that, I was laying goose eggs. Every time I took a finish, it was a submission or a decision. Every time I took a decision, it was a finish. So couldn't buy a win. Overall, 2-5. Joe, how was your weekend?
Hey, it was a learning week, we get on track this week. For boxing, I went 1-1 and hit on the Nicholson TKO at plus 600 for you guys. Unfortunately, we didn't get one in that main event, but it was an entertaining fight. And then for PFL, my brother, I went 4-7, an off night. But as you mentioned, I hit that parlay, so I kind of saved it with that. It was the We Know Women parlay between Larissa Pacheco and Kayla Harrison.
I love it. And PFL is kind of tricky, I feel like, but we're starting to dive into it a little more, and I think as time goes on, we will get better. But before we get into UFC, we have a great interview with Clay Collard. But before we do that, let us get paid. We are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebrations, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We favor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing around a golf with the boys or an elderberry on a Saturday watching UFC Austin, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. And now here is our interview with Clay Collard. Joe, amazing interview with Clay Collard. I thought I texted you immediately after the quote, I am a man of violence for the people," or something like that, right?
That's exactly right. He is a man of violence for the people. He goes out there to entertain the fans, entertain us, put on a show, and put hurt on his opponents, and he lives and breathes that. I mean, I really believe it. And Clay Collard is a stand-up dude. I can't thank him enough for joining us.
And he looked like he was in very good spirits. You know, only 48 hours removed of a tough main event loss, but he seemed like and sounded like he was in good spirits. So he can't wait back to get in there come 2024. So can't wait for our friend Clay Collard to get back in the octagon. But let's get it. Joe, let's get into UFC Austin. One real quick, Melquez, Costa, and Steve Garcia fight canceled. But other than that, everyone made weight. Jalen Turner missed weight initially. Second try, he made weight. So everyone's good and official.
Yeah, that was amazing and impressive by Jalen Turner on barely a 2 weeks notice to make that weight. He's a big guy for that division. That was impressive.
Yeah, very is.
So, all right, I'll take it away for UFC Austin. It makes their return to Texas, the UFC does, and we'll start it off with the first fight of the entire card, which is Veronica Hardy taking on Jamie Lynn Horth. Veronica Hardy looking like a dog right now. I see her as much as plus 170, and for some reason, Jamie Lynn Horth is a big favorite at minus 175. So I have nothing on this, but D, take it away. This is your first play.
Yes, sir. I mean, to be honest, I just don't think she should be this big of an underdog. She looked good in her last fight. She got the win. And I think a lot of people are, on the fact that she's fighting this Canadian undefeated fighter. And yeah, she's good. Don't get me wrong. I think her name's Jamie Lynn Horth. But Veronica Hardy, married to Dan Hardy. She has a great corner. She had a very good camp. I think she's very live. I got her at plus 155. I think she's live here to start off the night. So give me the dog. I think little quote, dogs are barking today.
I love that. Every time I hit the dogs early, I say they barking early. Brother, I'm looking at her record right now. She hasn't lost a fight even in an amateur circuit, this Jamie Lynn Horth. Some finishes, second and third round, some decisions. So she looks like she can definitely stand in there. She's fought for the LFA, and she actually has already fought in the UFC, coming off a win against Haley Cohen. So she does have some experience already. It'd be surprising to see, my man, but I like you going with precedent in that one. Veronica Hardy has proved herself before.
Yes, sir.
And let's go into the next fight. I don't have any plays, but I just want to give you the odds. Wellington Turman, I think we're going to get Alex Poatan in the corner for him against Jared Night Train Gooden at a plus 165. And I don't know where to lean with this. I like Jared Gooden a lot. I'll be completely honest with you. I think he's super explosive, and Wellington Turman does get chinny at times. He gets connected with a lot of shots. So I would be looking for maybe a knockout or submission. I think it's a knockout from Jared Gooden or submission from Wellington Turman.
I love that because my lean, I didn't take it, but I was leaning Jared Gordon via KO at plus 400. Wow. I know Jared Gordon, he is the underdog here, but Gordon KO might be, I think, the most likely outcome. Wellington Turner, he's a guy, he has good jiu-jitsu, don't get me wrong, but he's very chinny. He's easy to hit, and he has spotty takedowns, I feel like. Yeah. So if he stands and tries to trade with Jared Gordon for an extended period of time, not good. I think he could get knocked out. So I do lean Jared Gordon. Either you want to take him straight up or a little sprinkle on the via KO, TKO.
I like that, brother. Definitely. Let's go into the next fight here. And we got Ukraine's Igor Poteria taking on Rodolfo Bellato, Dana White Contender Series alum. And, man, the odds pretty interesting. You got plus 325 for Ukrainian zone. And but Brazilian is a minus 400 favorite. So he's a massive favorite. I think people are expecting him to get the knockout here. As I said before, I've taken him a lot. I don't have an official play for this. But the only guy that ever got Bellato out of there was the guy who just got the big knockout, one of the knockout of the years. Why am I drawing a blank? I just had it. Petrino, Vitor Petrino. Yep. So that's the only guy to ever beat Rodolfo Bellato. I think the line is right in this. But you can't deny the Ukrainian soldiers. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what to say, but I think we're expecting a Rodolfo Bellato knockout, and that's what the odds would reflect. So let's take it into the next fight. I see South Carolina's own Joe Solecki taking on Drakkar Klose as he makes his return here. Drakkar Klose, minus 125 favorite, and Joe Solecki a plus 117. I'll be honest, man, I don't have a play on this, but I'm for sure going to lean Joe Solecki, possibly with a submission victory. Do you have anything?
I was actually leaning the other way. Darko Klose win via decision at plus 175. I think people are sleeping on just how good Close is. You know, he had the weekend's headliner against Benel Dariush, and they banged, and he was an inch of a loss, but unfortunately he was on the wrong end of a massive comeback. So I still think he should have the advantage over Joe Solecki in a number of places. While I just don't trust Joe Solecki, you know. So
I think his way out is the submission, and that's why I would lean that. But man, to be honest with you, I do think it might be Drakkar Klose's fight to lose because he should have the advantage on the feet. And if he can play his game, you're right. That decision play is live, brother.
Yeah. So plus 175, I lean that way. Nothing official though.
All right, let's take it to the next one. And man, I've been disappointing in a lot of his performances as of late, and that's Cody Brundage. He's a big dog here in this spot against Zach Reese, undefeated fighter. Did me well in Dana White Contender Series. I would absolutely lean Zach Reese. Possibly again, back-to-back submissions. I know it sounds awkward, but he's pretty gifted when it comes to the grappling aspect of these things. So I would lean Zach Reese, but once again, no official play.
Lean Cody Brundage plus 185. I know a lot of people. I told you the dogs are barking.
Yeah.
I just think a lot of people don't trust Cody Brundage because of his fight IQ, right? That's fair. But the number of times he's jumped guillotine in a bad situation, still, he has unquestionable skills when applied correctly. That's the main thing. When he applies it correctly, he's a good fighter. He hits hard. He has solid wrestling. And Zach Reese struggled with those skills in the Contender Series fight before getting a submission. So I think Cody Brundage can follow that game plan, keep his elbows safe. I think he could get a victory here. So I would actually lean Cody Brundage.
You know, and he's coming off of a win, which was a very interesting one because it's like I'm seeing right here, it says it was an illegal elbow to the back of the head. And he's the one who landed it on Jacob Malkoun. But then
I said, keep the elbows in.
Yeah, keep the elbows in. But look who he's fought. He's kind of fought some killers. I know the Cedricus Dumas is kind of like, you know, where we say whether or not it was him making bad IQ moves within the fight, or if it was that he kind of gave up the fact that he joined that fight on short notice, accepted a fight on short notice. But look who we fought prior to that. Rodolfo Vieira, BJJ especially, got choked out by him. And then Michael Oleksiejczyk knocked him out in the first round. That dude is a warrior. You know, I love our boy Polish Power. So, you know, he's fought very good names, and I think it's live. I honestly think you might be right with the dogs barking. So let's go right into the next fight, which I think is the feature bout of the preliminary card, and that would be the return, once again, of Cupcake Miesha Tate taking on a 2-year hiatus return of Julia Avila. So Miesha Tate, coming off retirement, has actually fought more recent than Julia Avila. How crazy is that? Miesha Tate is a dog, plus 120. Julia Avila, minus 150, I'm seeing somewhere. But take it away if you have a play. I'll be honest with you.
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything.
Yeah, I would lean another dog. I would lean dog. Miesha Tate. Yeah, I mean,
that's fair.
Yeah, plus 114. I'm seeing right now.
I want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, to be real with you.
Shout out Miesha Tate, though, coming back and being on the prelims, huh?
She, you know, featured bout, you know, and if she comes out and it looks impressive, I mean, man, 5 fights in a title. No,
I mean, she's in the top 12, and the girl she's fighting is number 13. She'll definitely get a top 10 opponent if she does win after this, and
she could be building towards it.
And to be honest, I know I joked around saying she's in the prelims, but a lot of people say the featured prelim is a better spot than even sometimes the opening fight in the main card.
Yeah, that's true. I know the opener of the main card kind of gets the momentum going, depending on how that fight, you know, goes down. So that's it for the prelims. Let's get right into the main card here. And it's kicking off with exactly a fight that I think they want to get the momentum started with, which is Punahele Soriano taking on Dustin Stoltzfus. I think we're getting a stand-up battle here. Punahele Soriano, minus 260 favorite I'm seeing, and Dustin Stoltzfus is as much as a plus 300 dog. If you really think the dogs are barking here, Dill, maybe put a little money on Dustin Stoltzfus. But like I said, with a stand-up battle and the power going Soriano side, I got to think he gets a round 1 KO. But I'm going to take him via KO, TKO straight up. That is Punahele Soriano at plus 120. Like I said, via KO, TKO. You have anything?
No, nothing on this fight.
Absolutely. And the next fight, man, I'm excited for this one, to be honest with you. I don't necessarily know the level of Joaquin Silva. I do like that he's kind of, you know, do or die in there. But Clay Guida, absolute legend. I mean, the dude has over, like, he's almost on 60 fights. Am I wrong?
He had 61 fights.
That is unheard of, man. I think the losses don't even matter for Clay Guida because
It doesn't. He's a Hall of Famer.
He's gonna get a win. I really feel like he's gonna win here. He's such a dog. I'm seeing him going up as much as 270, as you Silva is a minus 300. But when I found Guida, I had him at plus 260. So I mean, you can take him now and still get some good value. But I think he can grind him out. Clay Guida could wrestle. Joaquin Silva's good at jiu-jitsu. He's never been submitted. I'm not looking for submission here, but I would be fearful for Guida getting submitted. I think he needs to utilize position control and just stay on top position as much as possible and just, kill the legs and stay on top. And I think he can out wrestle Joaquin Silva in this one and get to the judges' scorecards and win by decision. So I'll take Clay Guida on the money line straight up, plus 260.
2017 was the last time Joaquin Silva beat someone via knocking them out. In 6 years, he hasn't taken anyone to the cards or managed to submit anyone. And now he's fighting a legend like my boy Clay Guida, who not only has probably, if not the best gas tank, a top 5 gas tank in the division. It just seems impossible for him to get a knockout or finish Clay Guida. You're not doing that. And in fact, Clay Guida has just been knocked out twice in 61 professional fights.
And what was that? All the way back in like 2003?
Yeah, 2003, 2004. People were in fucking diapers at that point, bro. He was out here getting money. But I agree. I think his wrestling, I think his constant pressure, his gas tank, I think Clay Guida's live, plus 270. Let's keep the dogs barking.
I love it. He's got it. He's still got it. The Carpenter, baby. Legend. Hall of Famer. 100%.
Oh, 100%.
We can't be gatekeeping the Hall of Fame. We just have to be.
DC would have another thing because
he's going to have something else. He's got 20 plus losses. That's going to be the ammunition. Oh, he's got 20 plus losses. But Clay Guida is a pioneer of the sport, and he's still fighting 20 years later. I think that says something in a game that it's like be fearful of old man in a young man's game. That's what you got to look out for. So let's go into the next fight. And speaking of that, we got a vet in Kelvin Gastelum taking on newcomer Sean Brady. I think Sean Brady was a little bit exposed in his last matchup. Right now, you've seen him as much as a favorite as minus 130. And Kelvin Gastelum, I'm surprised by this line. He's a plus 110 dog. Money's coming in on Sean Brady because when I got Kelvin Gastelum, he was a plus 105. I'm taking him all the way. I think the boxing's better. I think if Bilal Muhammad exposed Sean Brady, I think Kelvin Gastelum could absolutely do the same. I'm taking Kelvin Gastelum here in this spot. And like I said, I do think he may get a finish here. But don't be worried if Sean Brady's tough enough to make it a judge's scorecard. That's why I'm playing it safe and taking Gastelum just on the money line.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Kevin Gastelum money line plus 105 for me. Tough task, moving down to 170 for Kevin Gastelum. Looked good on the scale. But I think he will be able to stuff those takedowns, have success on the feet. Sean Brady doesn't want to stand and trade with Kelvin at all. I mean, I'm completely off the Sean Brady hype train that everyone's on. Like you said, I think Bully B exposed him in their last fight in the stand-up. So I wouldn't be surprised either if he got the knockout, but we're already getting plus money just taking him straight up. Don't want to get greedy. I agree with you, Joe. Continue. Let's keep the dogs barking again.
That's right. There's a theme. There's a theme with today's show, and it'll take us right into the next one. And I'll be honest, man, looking at this fight, we're getting the debut of Figgy in the 135-pound bantamweight division. I think this is the people's main event here. I think a lot of people are anticipating his debut in this spot, and Rob Font is kind of the perfect opponent for him to show whether or not Figgy's that level in a weight class above him. Rob Font favored, and I kind of agree with it, but just based off precedent, that he's the homer. He's been in this division. He's been there. He's fought the who's who. So the fact that he's a minus 140 favorite on some books, I can agree. I do think maybe the line should be squeezed a little closer. But with Figgy at a plus 125, I'm taking that any day of the week. I think he's brutal in there. I think he goes for a finish. Rob Font has only been finished once in his career, so it's likely that we go to decision. But the fact that Rob Font got butchered by Chito Vera makes me think that Figgy can kind of do the same and possibly get him out of there in the third. That's my verdict prediction is Figueiredo finishing Rob Font in the third round via KO TKO.
I love to back the New England Mafia and Rob Font. And I agree. I think he should be the slight favorite, maybe minus 115, minus 120. I think the line kind of got out there.
Money's coming in probably.
I had to take Figgy on the money line plus 122. Like I said, I think the line is a little off. I'm basically just playing it just based on value. I think there's tremendous value on Figueroa, where I do think this is the most technical fight on the card, to be honest. It's going to be a chess match where Figueroa's going to try to keep it go in and make this a dirty fight, where Rob Font loves to keep the distance, loves to use his jab, but I honestly think the power actually might be with Figgy. I think moving up was the smart decision for him.
Yeah.
And I saw him on the weight.
Cool, bro.
He looks jacked at 135. I think this is perfect. I love Rob Font, but I think Deiveson Figueroa is the better fighter. Give me the dog plus 122.
Hey, Dyko season. Shout out Pep. Let's go into the co-main event. You got Jalen the Tarantula Turner taking on Bobby King Green. And man, this is a great co-main event slot. Kudos to Jalen Turner for coming out in short notice. And on top of that, making weight. 6'3", he makes 155. He made it in 156. I mean, the dude, that is so impressive to me. I'm going to be completely honest with you. We talked about this as we normally don't, but we did talk about this fight for everyone that's listening. And we were on Bobby Green. I'm going to be straight. I might have gave a little insight to your play is going to be, or maybe it's changed, but this is why my pick has changed to Jalen the Tarantula Turner. He made that weight. It was so impressive to me. I think he wants it. I really do. It didn't look all too bad. He went and missed it the first time, but came back out. What did he do? Drop a deuce? I mean, come on. I think Jalen Turner is ready. Minus 180. I'm going to take him straight up. It's a little chalky, but I came off of Bobby King Green. I don't want to call the win against Grant Dawson a fluke, but Jalen Turner at 6'3", do you think he's going to get caught by Bobby King Green? I don't know. Jalen Turner might be able to get him down to the ground or clinch work him with the 6'3" height advantage and the reach. I mean, that's why I just switched around the weight cut, the fact that he made it and that he's stepping on short notice. I know the interviews may have scared you a little bit, but it's going to be a different game when they get in that octagon together. So give me Jalen Turner minus 180.
Yeah, you're right. I'm staying with King Green, Bobby Green on the money line plus 180. I'm glad you brought up the interview, because I think that's one of the things that scared me. Like, he said his fight with Dan Hooker and just sitting in the hospital looking at him and saying, like, I really took a year or a few years off this man's life. Like, that shit hit him, and he was dealing with stuff after the fight. But credit him making weight on less than a week's notice, and he's a big fucking boy. Yeah. Like, he's not a traditional lightweight, so making 155 is very impressive. Yeah, I don't know what he did, because he missed weight and then 5 minutes later comes back and he's good.
Didn't cut his hair. Nothing.
It's good. So credit him. I'm professional through and through. I just think, and to go back on one other thing you said, I don't think it was a fluke. I was on Bobby Green when he beat Grant Dawson in 45, 50 seconds.
Yeah.
I think it could happen again. I like the Tarantula, don't get me wrong, but Bobby Green, after all the bullshit that Arman Tsarukyan and his team did to him, the man's on a fucking mission right now. And I don't think that this is a guy you want to piss off. I think he's coming in there and he's going to prove a point. I got to go with my boy King Green here on the money line plus 180.
I like it, brother. I'm looking at Jalen Turner, and, he got knocked out in 11 seconds one time, which is back in 2016. Vicente Luque, I wonder what they were fighting at with that weight. He must have gone up to 170 or something.
He had to, right?
Luque. He knocked down the first round there too. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible. Anything's possible, but it's either for Jalen Turner that he's going to lose via knockout, or he's going to lose by a robbery, because all his losses are split decision losses. So, hey, that's funny that I just noticed that. But let's get into the main event of UFC Austin, which is headlined by Beneil Dariush and Arman Tsarukyan. And D, I'm going to let you take it away. What do you got in this?
Yeah, so I thought, I'm going, obviously I've picked 6-7 dogs already, and that's the theme here. And yeah, I talked shit about Arman Tsarukyan. I thought it was a pussy move what he did. I'm not gonna lie, him and his team, they kind of especially, I don't know if you saw the video that came out on Tsarukyan's YouTube channel, but Bobby Green was on like a phone interview by himself, back against the wall, and him and his boys cornered him. That's a pussy move in my eyes, or in my opinion. But I wanted every reason to fade Arman Tsarukyan. I really did, Joe, but I can't. I do think he is the better fighter. You and I talked about it. You alluded to it. Beneil Dariush, besides that 9-fight win streak he was on, it was very inconsistent up and down. He really wasn't fighting the who's, I thought.
Yeah.
And the line just keeps getting wider and wider, which is telling me something. I did like Sarukian when it opened. I think he was around a -180, -190. He's almost a $3 favorite now. So the money line's off limits to me. So to get a little more value in it, I took Arman Sarukian to win by KO, TKO at +135. I think he should be able to dictate where this fight takes place. I think he has the striking advantages, and I think he has the power advantage. And I think he could stuff the takedowns. If Beneil Dariush wants to take it to the floor, I don't think
he will.
I don't think he will either. I think they stand on the feet and they bang. And I think he puts Dariush out there in 2 back-to-back knockouts from DuBronx and now Arman Sarukian. I hate to back him because I thought what he did was a pussy move, but I like money more. like my boy Money Morcano. So give me Arman Sarukian. You hear it in my voice. I don't love it. It hurts me, but
I'm actually a big Benny fan. I like Beneil Dariush.
I do too, but I can't trust him anymore.
Yeah, and after that last performance, I don't know how much in his head he is. He's been in this sport for a long time. The hair throws me off. I saw someone mention that. That's what I was saying to myself. You think Benny's close to 40. He's still only 34. So he's still got a little left in the tank, but Arman Sarukian is in his absolute prime, and I think he's gearing up for a title shot. And that's kind of like the storyline that's been built in because his debut was a loss against the current champ, Islam Makhachev. Yeah. So I think that's a fight that he wants, and to do so, to get that shot, he needs to beat this guy, Beneil Dariush. He needs to beat who's been a top 5 contender for years, convincingly. And I have Arman Sarukian via inside the distance at -115. If you found it on other books, it might be double chance via KO, TKO, or submission. And I saw on some of them, it was actually plus money. It was like +110. So you're getting some good odds on a safe play that he does it inside the distance either way. But I also have a little bit of a stretch for you guys. If you're really going off of what Dylan said and they're going to stand and bang, there's a possibility Arman Sarukian goes and gets him down and or drops him and submits him. So to play it safe with a round 1 win, I got Arman Sarukian at +450 there. The losses that Beneil Dariush has via submission are guillotine chokes. So something tells me that Arman Sarukian could jump Gilly, and he's got a sick one too. But if they stand and bang, man, Benny's chin's going to get tested. Arman's chin will be tested because, like I said, Benny does come to bang as well. So I'm thinking this is a really good main event for Texas. They should be happy because I'm expecting fireworks. And
real quick. I'm sorry, Joe. I just wanted to say, yes, it is a very good card. It's V week in ESPN. So there's going to be a QR code if you guys want to help or know anyone that's been impacted by cancer. $1, $5, anything helps for research. So it's going to be a very packed crowd. This was for who was the guy on ESPN? Steven that died of cancer.
Stuart Scott.
Stuart Scott, R.I.P. So they're
how could you forget that? I'm so disappointed.
I know. It just
you got a lot of thoughts going on.
He's as cold as the back of the pillow, right?
Cool as the other side of the pillow. Yeah, Stuart Scott's a legend, bro. R.I.P.
So they're doing this for him and the whole Jimmy week. I think all the money that they raised, they are giving it to the V Foundation, which good cause.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great cause. And, our thoughts and prayers for all those battling. And, we need to give you guys our undying support. You'll deserve it. So that's it for UFC Austin. I'm expecting fireworks and great fights throughout.
Joe, let's go over to the Maverick Center, Salt Lake City. Hit up your brother. Get tickets, baby, because we got a barn burner there with the Underground King Eddie Alvarez taking on Mike Perry. Both undefeated. Mike Perry 3-0 in BKFC. Only one fight in his last fight, Shawn Mendes, with Eddie Alvarez. But fighting at I think they're fighting at 170, correct?
That is Mike Perry and Eddie Alvarez. Yes,
Yeah,
they're fighting up
yes.
70. And then real quick, Louis Baboon, who's the champion at lightweight, he said something to Eddie. He was like, "Would you think about cutting weight to 155?" That's a fight that I'd be interested to see too.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just glad Mike Perry really found his home at BKFC.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this like fits him and fits the mold, and honestly, it fits Eddie too, bro. The Underground King. So I'm happy to see these guys basically, like you said, find a home.
Right now, I'm seeing odds. Mike Perry, obviously the favorite, -265, +205 for Eddie Alvarez. Joe, I'll let you lead it off here with the main event. What do you got, kid?
Brother, we'll start off, like you said, with the main event. And Mike Platinum Perry is taking on Eddie, the Underground King Alvarez. And I'm expecting fireworks once again in this one. I think we're going to have a wonderful weekend with these two main events. I really think both of them are going to come to bang and prove something to us that they are the best in the world. And they're also getting crowned in this one for BKFC, the King of Violence.
They're just creating belts at this point.
I'll be honest, though. I can dig it, though. I can honestly dig it, man. And I know I posted it. I know you are on the side of the opposite of our other friend. But I'm thinking that this is a very evenly contested matchup. I really think both guys are super durable and tough. And I got a prediction. I think we're getting a 6th round, brother. I really think that this fight's going to go to the judges after 6, and neither guy is going to get finished. But if I had to take a side, I got to go with the bigger guy, the guy who's been there and fought some names, and that's Platinum Mike Perry at -250. Super chalky, but I just got to take him. And that's my play, D. What do you got, man?
Yeah, like I said, I want to say before I give my answer, or my prediction, I am very happy for Mike Perry, all of the success. I think he's really found his home at BKFC, but I gotta go with the Underground King. Give me the dog. This is the theme of the fucking episode today. Give me +205, Underground King, Eddie Alvarez. I just think this style, or styles make fights, and I think this fight Styles is perfect for Eddie Alvarez because he doesn't lose fights where someone's going to sit there and stand with fan. He usually wins those fights. Now, a quicker guy who moves in and out, kind of like Conor McGregor, piecing him up.
Punch him.
That's how he got beat. That's how he got knocked out. Mike Perry isn't like that. And I know he has the experience in the I don't know if you even call it cage. Is it cage?
It's like the circled square. It's not the circle.
Circle square. Say that 10 times fast. But he does have the experience. I just think Eddie Alvarez is a killer, and I think this style is perfect for him. I do agree. I think it goes a little longer, but eventually Eddie Alvarez pieces him up. So the face-off was fucking electric yesterday.
And the press conference was good too. It was entertaining. So, honestly, BKFC has come a long way, and we got to put in perspective how busy they've been this year. And the fact that they're making money just proves that this is a wanted commodity. That we want BKFC. We want bare knuckle going on. I got to say, the beginning of the year, we started at BKFC 35. First event in January was BKFC 35. We were all the way at BKFC 56. They had a lot of events this year. That goes to show that they're busy. They got active fighters, a prospect series. They're making money. BKFC is here to stay, everyone.
Yeah, and they're every month or every other month, other commissions in other states are sanctioning it. So you're not just going to see in Colorado or Utah or down south. We're going to see it in a lot more places. And I agree. I think BKFC has really done well this year. And, they got this is their biggest event besides the one with Luke Rockhold where Conor McGregor was there. I mean, this is the biggest one.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's why Conor was there. Mike called him out. So, if you're getting Conor to show up, that's going to bring more eyes too. I honestly think Utah's going to have a lot of stars in the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's all I have on BKFC. Any other fights? I know our boy Jeremy Stevens is also on the card. Who else?
Yeah, I'll run through it. So in the co-main event, I got to take our boy Big Ben Rothwell. I made a thread on him earlier on X or Twitter, whatever we call it nowadays. He's a -300 favorite, and I agree. I'm going to take the chalk just because he is brutal and he could take punishment as well as give it. And Todd Duffy is very chinny. We've seen him get knocked out time and time again, but he does have some power. But like I said, Ben Rothwell can handle it. And then in the championship bout between the women, it's Christine Ferreira taking on Bec Rawlins. They fought earlier this year. Bec Rawlins was stopped by the doctor, and she's trying to get it back. But I got to take Ferreira. She's a proven champion at -190. That's a line that I'll take. And then I have another championship, which is the Bantamweight Championship. Kai Stewart, hefty bag, taking on Howard Davis. Howard Davis was a lot bigger in there, but I like the scrappiness of the completely undefeated Kai Stewart. Hefty bag hasn't lost a fight in amateurs or pro, MMA, boxing, kickboxing. He's done it all and hasn't lost a fight. Give me the dog at +135 in that spot. Sneaky. And then you mentioned Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens takes on Jimmy El Terra Rivera. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on Jimmy Rivera because he's very slick. He counters very well. And if Jeremy Stevens gets lazy in there, I think Rivera pieces it up. So I'm going to take him on the money line at -150. And Jeremy Stevens is just a knockout power. And if he can't get it done, I do think he looks for ways out. So Jimmy Rivera can get it done. And that's what I have for BKFC 56.
Joe, good luck. BK, good luck in UFC. Hopefully we have a bounce back week. We kind of had, let's get some winners. And, hopefully if we just cash just a couple with all these underdogs, I think we'll be in a good spot. But Joe, thank you so much. Real quick, just a few bits and bobs before we get to 10 seconds left. Dana White announced UFC 299. We know UFC 297 in Toronto, 298 in Anaheim. And 299, Sean O'Malley, Cheeto Vera will take place in Miami to 305. You like that place?
Yeah, honestly, I think I heard reports of the infrastructure there for fights is fantastic. Like the way that they're set up, easy to get to the arena, places to drink, the beach is right there. I heard Miami's got it down packed.
Yeah, so I am excited. I think that's where Pereira and Izzy fought. So should be very good. Also, UFC announced in Saudi Arabia, they will be heading there for Real season March 2nd, 2024 as a fight night. And we have our first fight announced. Your boy, Eric Anders taking on Jamie Pickett. I actually like this fight.
Oh, yeah, I do. Honestly. I like your boy, Eric Anders, ex-Alabama linebacker. He means business. And Jamie Pickett, I think he surprised a lot of people his last time out, didn't he?
Yeah, I like Jamie Pickett. He's a solid vet. I think this is a good fight, but my worry with our boy, he's kind of been flirting 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And in UFC and in the mixed martial arts and UFC, you don't want to do that because this is a very dangerous sport and you could get your headlights clipped easy. So it is cool that they're going to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and Riyadh season they want to get all the big fights. So expect this to not just be like a normal fight night. We're going to probably see some big time fighters there. So I'm glad they're going over there, and I've heard nothing but good things from.
And the Prince can get the stars.
Your Excellency
out to the event.
But yeah, Joe, that's it. Nothing really else happened during this week. So why don't you take it over? 10 seconds left. The King, Ryan Garcia, returns.
Yeah, before I state my record, though, I thought to mention Uriah Faber's Future Stars MMA, a.k.a. A1 Amateur Series 3, takes place tomorrow as well. I just thought to throw that in there. But for Cage Warriors 164, I had last week, Newcastle, Ponton, as you like to say. I went 1-1. But let's get into boxing. I honestly am going to take the dog here. Ryan Garcia said it himself. He said his promotion's against him. They're rooting for Oscar Duarte. Something's telling me that Oscar Duarte could be the truth, and he could knock out Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia's got to prove to me that he wants it, that he wants to be a champ still, and that loss between Tank was maybe just a fluke or something was going on, like he said. So I'm going to take Oscar Duarte just based off principle at +360, and that is my 10 seconds left play.
I'm trying to find the number. What kind of favorite is Ryan Garcia right now?
I think I saw -500 on some books.
Oh, yeah. He's -550. The best thing I see is -400. I think the line's a little off, if I'm being honest. But we're definitely gonna see a determined Ryan Garcia try to avenge that loss. But we will see. But Joe, thank you.
King Ryan.
Yes, sir. That's going to do it for this Friday edition of Axe Kick Picks. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Joey, thank you to Clay Collard as well for coming on, spending a little time with us. I am D-Rock. We'll see you guys next week with plenty of picks, plenty of hot takes. So please follow along our social media, X and Instagram at Axe Kick Picks. You guys can find all of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. We go live every Friday afternoon on YouTube, youtube.com/ Axe Kick Picks live. Subscribe, like, rate, leave a review, leave a comment on who you think might win this weekend. But be a friend, tell a friend. Everyone, good luck on your wagers. Be safe, be well, and we will see you guys down the road. Peace.